One of the most competitive regionals of the block has come and gone, and it appears that Dragon Link is fighting for top spot out of this event. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So we're going to be looking at the top 8 out of the Texas regional, and Texas is one of the bigger regions for the game where you usually see the clash of the titans out here in terms of these top cut representations. And seeing that Dragon Link and Kashtira were both fighting for top representation, I actually think is crazy. The fact that Dragon Link, in terms of recent innovations, actually, yes, the deck has innovated itself again with the new Red Ice well, it was a V-Jump promo out of Japan, but I mean, it's another dragon monster. You can actually, dump and kind of continue on with your combo line. Your opponent's going to be like, wait, what? So yeah, the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon actually getting some value out of this. Now, those two fighting each other actually isn't the craziest thing. It's what actually ended up winning the regional. A 60-card branded pile actually ended up winning the event. And when we get the chance to look at this deck here in a second, you're just going to sigh. You're going to be like, what in the world has gone on here? Like, it's literally, you'll see what I mean here in a second. We also had Unchained out here. Now, I feel like Unchained has been a pretty strong competitor out of the first 3 weeks that we've had going around. And we've talked about that this deck, it just doesn't care about Dimensional Fissure. Like, it does a little bit. It can be inconvenienced. But the deck is able to kind of play through a lot of these strong plays and just not care at the end of the day. We also have one Purely deck, which I'm not all that surprised to see either. And then we had a Marincess Duelist squeak on in to the top cut here as well. Now, you should be no stranger seeing Marincess sitting at the top tables out of a Texas regional, because it is Aaron. And that's a name that, when you see who it is here in a little bit, you'll definitely know. So let's pass on over to that top cut deck list, shall we? All right, so this is the cluster pile of cards that won this regional, and I'm gonna say I'm genuinely impressed. Obviously, we're still playing the Dark Magician to enable the Red Eyes Dark Tree. You know how many people are not prepared for this right now? I don't know, we haven't changed the meta so much at this point in time that people have forgotten how this card actually works, but at the end of the day, it's still sitting here. It's still a top metagame contender, and it's doing its thing. You've also got double skill drain in here as well, which you might think, with the branded options. I mean, the biggest thing is you're turning your 3,000 attack point monsters into beat sticks, and they're just kind of wailing on the opponent. And that's kind of free. Like, you don't really care because, like, your Mirjay can still dump and, for cost. Yay, you love to see it. We are also playing the Fusion Duplication. We've seen this particular tech choice come up a little bit. I would say it was, like, very beginning of the format shift, and then it just kind of disappeared. I still think this card is fantastic. At the end of the day, getting to do fusion plays during your opponent's turn is stupid as it is, but an extra form of that disruption is really good. And we're also playing the Brightest Blazing Branded King. Choose a fusion monster you control Dimensions Fallen Above as material, and negate the effects of another face-up cards currently on the field till the end of this turn. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. Oh boy, well that's pretty good. It's another negate. All right, well, this also turns off your skill drain, by the way. Something to consider there. All right, well, this has been a pile. Next up here, we have Dragon Link, and of course, this is the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon that we've started to kind of see making its rounds here. Once again, you get the ability to send a level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. You know who we're dumping? The Brick of Bricks, Mr. Driver himself. You get this garbage out of here, and then you can still use your Gamma, all right? Or, congratulations, you can go ahead and burn the Gamma. I'll make sure that the Gamma actually resolves, because the Chaos Space is a very threatening target. Your opponent's going to look at this every time that this is attempting to resolve, and they're going to screech no at the top of their lungs, all right? Because if they see this card coming down, they know that there's probably going to start to be issues that they're going to have to be able to handle at the end of the day. And I mean, let's be honest, the whole Wyvern Buster Collapse Serpent line of play is so free in terms of, the massive amount of generation it makes. Next up here is boring old cached hero. Now, I'll be honest with you, we've seen so much cached hero at this point in time. The play lines are pretty much stuck in my head for tech choices here. But instead of Book of Moon, this build opted to play the triple Book of Eclipse. Now, I don't know if I'm a real big fan of that at the end of the day. I understand, like, Book of Moon is for the single answers, while, all the big old swingers out here want to make sure that they can sit down entire fields. And you've got decision trees that you obviously need to make. Getting a full swing down on a field might not be the one thing that you want, but they did have success with this. It did work out at the end of the day. So I can't hate on this too much. This looks like it was a pretty successful choice. I also see, we have the Herald of the Abyss, the Eradicator, all of these tech choices that you're pretty used to seeing right now in the format to clean up a lot of the troublesome cards. There's so many big pain in the butts this format, and this being the key progenitor of half of them. Next up here is another cached hero deck. Look, it's 8 books. Okay. Now, I can get behind the 8 books here. I mean, the 8 defensive options. You're making sure that you can do your thing. We're on no imperms, actually, in this deck. It feels like we cut out a lot of the fat that we've been seeing in the meta, and that's actually not bad. Man, the reliance on imperm in this deck, it was always kind of one of those cards that did help out a lot, but if you can amputate it and play without it, it's fine. Double talents to make sure that you can punish the opponent. There's the Herald of the Abyss as well, and hey, it's the Infinitrack Mountain Smasher that people told me would never see play, and it's been at least 10 different lists at this point in time, but once again, you see how boring these cached hero decks are at this point in time. It doesn't stop. I mean, can't stop, won't stop, right? If it's not broken, why fix it? Or is it actually broken? Next up here, we have some more Dragon Link. Now, this is not playing the Red Eyes metal package. No, we don't need that in this build. This is old reliable. This is the standard of the standard. And we have the Book of Eclipses down here in the main. We have seen Book of Eclipse show up into the main of Dragon Link because they do need to make sure that they can clean up those big annoying boards at the end of the day. The biggest real things to consider, I mean, if it's in the side deck, you have access to it. He's got to draw. You're already playing 45 cards at the end of the day, but if you do see Chaos Space, you should be getting to a majority of your play line as it is. I also love the fact that Atom has started to see play because of the Bice deals. It just turns into a free extension for the deck to continue to set up. Outside of that, I mean, maybe the Chaos Ember Dragon Pendulum might be something that people might feel a little bit out of place, because this card has definitely taken more of a back seat in the meta, but I don't see anything really. It's all standard to me at this point in time. Next up here we have the Giant Space Rock deck. Outside of, man, looking at Marin says this deck has been pretty much figured out. I mean, okay, so you decide on how many Battle Oceans you want to play. We have 2 rolling on up here. Double dive, excuse me, it's 1 Battle Ocean, 2 dive. You're not playing 3 of this. You have the Book of Moons right now, which are the current hotness in the meta, to make sure that, hey, your opponent's set a monster, you burn off a negate, set down some sort of annoying floodgate. We are playing Basilema here. I think a lot of people have actually forgone this. This is actually a pretty nice tech choice to actually have for the deck. I see that we are on double Zelantis. Is Zelantis as a 2-of? Is that actually standard at this point in time? Because I feel like I've looked at most of these builds and I've only seen 1-of. And at least somebody is packing in the Lingaribo here. They don't want to lose to the randomness that is, the Nightmare Corruptor Ability. So good to see that they have their tech choices sorted out. And our last list here is actually Unchained. Full disclaimer, Unchained had a pretty good weekend here. Unchained tore through so much of this meta. So many people are like, I don't know how to handle this meta. And Unchained's like, I don't care. If you set up something here, I'll just go ahead and link out with it. Like, okay. It's amazing to me that a deck that can play, I would say, so ignorantly at the end of the day, made so much advantage here. Also surprised on the double of this as well. It's actually kind of interesting. We've seen some builds playing the bigger guy to rank up into even further beyond. Kind of an interesting choice there. Double Book of Moon is also interesting. I've seen some people calling for 3 in this deck. They're like, trust me, Robbie, you need the triple book. It's the way to go. But it worked out. So you're allowed to have different takes than other people in the meta. You just need to back it up with some results to make people really consider it. So I like what I'm seeing here. Not too bad. So that wraps up your Texas regional breakdown. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.